On this episode today, we have Harvey Smith, who talks about medicine. Well, here we go, and here it is, another day, and we have someone special with us. They're always special, you know, in my art, everybody's special. But Harvey Smith, now, he's something else to deal with. Hello, Harvey Smith. How are you, sir?
Hello, doing great today. Thank you very much.
I was reading all about you. You're a physician's assistant, orthopedic surgeon. It sounds so heavy.
Oh, yes. I've been practicing medicine as a PA since 1992.
Why, before we go into what you do and how you do it, you said something to me the other day about you were a nurse assistant for 18 months?
Yes, I initially joined the U.S. Army active duty in 1983, and I came in as a combat medic, and I was afforded the opportunity for more education, so I went on to be an LPN in the middle of my career, or actually probably in the early career in the Army. But then I only practiced as a nurse for about 18 months before applying to PA school, and I got accepted, so I was very happy about that. Yeah.
Well, you went to several. I was going through your background education because we'll get to what part of the South you're from, because I hear a Southern note somewhere.
Oh, yes. I was born in Abington, Virginia.
Okay. You didn't lose it.
Yeah, it must be ingrained in the genes, you know.
It must be. You went to University of Oklahoma.
Yes,
And you went also to the University of Nebraska Medical Center College of Medicine?
Yes, that's where I got my master's through them. So.
And then you went, how many years have you been in school to get all this done?
Well, I was fortunate that the U.S. Army funded all my education. I just had to pay them back in time. So I 20 years in the Army, I got all the education through the Army, basically. So it was a blessing career, you know.
Yeah. What made you, can you remember, as we go through life, it all is going so fast. Can you remember why you wanted to be a doctor?
I think when I joined the service, I have a history. I lost my father when I was like 7 years old from leukemia, and I wanted to get into the medical field so I can help people. For that reason, just to be able to help people out and make them better.
Well, you sure do that. I obviously go to Harvey Smith, so I'm endorsing him today. And where's your office located, by the way?
It's in Henderson, Nevada, 6301 South Mountain Vista Street, Suite 204.
Well, the reason I had you repeat that is because if I go to someone, I can endorse them. I can endorse you because I started going to Harvey several years ago when I was having so much knee problems and I needed a shot in my knees. And Harvey is the best guy to get that done. That's the truth, too. You know you are. You're really good at that. I thank you again and again because the big shot in your leg scares you, but the way you do it is really, I wonder how many of those you've done in a lifetime.
Oh, more than I can count. I could do it in my sleep, second nature.
Yeah, I guess people come to you because they want that relief. And that's what you do. I have a sound here, by the way. I don't know if you're picking it up, but I'm picking up a sound. Yeah. Okay, so if I have to stop, you know what? There's nothing on there, is there, Harvey?
No, I don't hear any off the beat sounds on this end.
Okay, so we'll proceed, folks. Just bear with us. This is what we do. This is what we do. I was going to ask you so many questions. The main thing is, with all these different abilities that you have, what do you think you're the best at? What do you think makes a good doctor?
I think being able to listen to the patient is one of the top skills that any doctor could have. Listen to the patient and try to answer and give them what they need to get better. A lot of the complaints that I hear about people's dissatisfaction with doctors is that their doctors don't listen to them. Mm-hmm. And they get really frustrated. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of my things that I can do for people is listen to what they have to say.
But now when you listen to people and they talk about their pain or whatever, then you have to take that home? You take all that home with you?
I try not to internalize it too much. Sometimes it's kind of hard, especially if you have bad news that you have to tell a patient.
Yeah. How do you normally handle that?
Just be as upfront.
I'm not sure about that.
And give them all the facts and try to lay out a plan to get them on the right track to getting their problem fixed. But I'd say that's one of the hardest things in my career is like if you get a person that has like cancer or something, and you have to tell them, that their MRI showed like a cancerous lesion in their bone or their muscle. That's probably the most difficult thing to do. But
I've often wondered how they can land a man on the moon, but they can't find a cure for cancer. I've often wondered about that.
Oh yes, yeah, it's terrible, but hopefully someday medicine will evolve to where we can cure most cancers. That's my hope.
Well, I think a lot of it in your particular case is because the doctor that you are is because you come on with hope. You have a lot of hope and up in your office, and those things are important. With these days, the way they are, let's talk a little bit about it. I sure hope this is not showing up. You don't hear it on your side.
You want to stop for a minute and have me go get Teresa?
I'll see if it continues. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I don't hear anything on this end, so it sounds pretty good.
There might be something. We'll see. But I was going somewhere with that conversation. Today is not like it was yesterday. Our days are changing. Our world is changing. We all know that. But how are you personally handling that? How do you work with all that and take care of the patient and then go home to your wife and be the father and the grandfather and the husband and the friend she needs and yet keep on working with what you're doing, especially with this COVID situation?
Yeah, I think with the COVID situation, it's kind of changed the way we practice medicine now. A lot of the patients that I see, we communicate this kind of like we are right now over the computer. So they call that telehealth. So, it's a big drastic change. In 2020, I was seeing 95% of my patients were face-to-face. Now I only see patients face-to-face if they need a procedure or an examination. So it's a lot of telehealth, I think, is going to be the big move in the future. I'm not sure if that's a positive move, but it allows us to continue to see our patients without them having to come to the office.
Yeah, I just wondered, have you, you have a family to protect. Do you do much to protect yourself from the COVID? There's certain things that doctor does that we don't know about?
It's mostly all the common sense stuff. I find myself washing my hands a whole lot more than I used to, using the hand sanitizer and wearing my mask, but mostly just the common sense kind of stuff. But and then when you go to the store and you have to touch the fruits and vegetables and things like that, I wash the fruits and vegetables off before we consume them. But it makes you more cognizant of personal hygiene and stuff.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially since we don't know. Some people say that it stays on metal longer than it does anything else, but nobody really knows, do they, Harvey?
No, I don't think that it's been around long enough to do any long-term studies of how long it really stays on surfaces. There's some estimates that say it can last up to 3 days on solid surfaces.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that our great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers had to go through what they have to go through. And so now this is our turn to go through what we're going through. And fortunately, with all the lives that have been taken, a lot more lives are still here to be healed. So I've had a lot of positive. Have you had a lot of positive COVIDs? I have had, and they come out of it just fine.
Oh, yes. I had a gentleman just 2 days ago. He's 84, a veteran, and he was supposed to get a knee replacement that got delayed because he came up COVID positive, but he's doing just fine right now.
Yeah.
So he's going to have his surgery in February of next year.
Well, that's smart to stay out of the hospitals unless you have to be there, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I sure do. You as first responder and Candy who works into your office, and you are taking people into your office. So a lot of doctors aren't doing that at all. They're just doing like Zoom or what you were talking about.
Telehealth, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are, and then it just depends on the practice. So I have one colleague that she's been seeing patients like nothing's ever happened, and they're seeing a whole lot of patients every day. But the only difference is everybody's wearing their masks.
Yeah. Well, and then you see all these different masks. In fact, I was watching a football game and some coach got fined because he didn't have his mask on out on the field, So I hope people wear it when they're around other people. I don't know about wearing it at home by myself. I think that's a little much of a reach,
Oh, yes. It's not necessary. I think if you're with your close family members and indoors with just them, it's just only really necessary in grocery stores and social events when you don't know who's around you personally,
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's talk about your family for just a moment, because on my phone I have a picture of your grandson, Dean. How many grandchildren do you have?
I've got 2 grandsons. Dean, he's 10 years old, and his younger brother is Damon. He's 5 years old.
You're not proud of them or anything like that, are you?
Oh, they're great kids. Yeah.
do you find, because we're talking about kids, are there more kids you think getting this COVID than elderly, or is it just more or less just the elderly people?
Well, I think the elderly are more at risk if they catch it. Children are more resilient, so if they do catch it, they may have little to no symptoms whatsoever.
Well,
so they're at much less risk at having any bad outcomes from the virus.
the problem I see that they're talking about on the news, some news you can respect, is that so many kids are committing suicide because they're so isolated. Have you read much about that, Harvey?
Yes, I've been reading in the news about that. I do think it's a shame that the kids have to do schoolwork online now. My 5-year-old grandson started kindergarten on the computer, so I don't think that's really any way to start kindergarten.
No, I don't either.
I think it's best to let the kids go to school and socialize. But being isolated like this, I think would make kids and adults somewhat depressed.
Oh, for sure.
I see a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I would think so. Oh, by the way, this is Chaplain Susan Stafford, and we're talking with Harvey Smith. And the show is Out of the Box, and he is a physician's assistant orthopedic surgeon. And he's good because I go to him. And that makes it good. That's a personal endorsement. What do you foresee? We've got some time here. I remember when I first started talking to you a long time ago, we were talking about, I think you engaged in a lot of information with the Civil War.
Yeah, I don't recall that particular conversation, but
it's okay.
It is,
I could have had it with someone else too, Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
But you collected something. I was trying to think. It's going back a long time. But in reference to where I'm trying to go in this show is, what do you foresee for the future? I was going to talk about some of the things you used to collect, but I don't remember what those are at this moment. But if you could tell me, what do you foresee in the future? Excuse me, for America.
Yeah, I think a lot of the way we do business and stuff is going to change. I feel that there's probably going to be a lot more things done on computers, computer shopping. My wife, for instance, she does her grocery shopping like at Sam's Club, and she'll go and pull up, and they pull all her groceries out and put it in the back of the car, and you don't even have to go in the store.
I like that.
Yeah, and then telehealth is going to be, I think, a more persistent, ongoing in the future, even after the COVID virus is eliminated. And then a lot of the online banking is going to be more common. Instead of the brick and mortar banks, you're going to see more online banks. And then, if you need to talk to a bank teller, this be somebody that's on the computer or the phone versus going into a building.
Yes.
So,
I think probably because I'm a people person, not touching someone, it's really difficult. I'm doing the elbows, of course, but I'm such a hugger. But when I hear people say, we're never going to be able to hug, we never want anyone to hug again, I think, not on my watch. I'll go for this and do my best to do what I can do to make life better for everybody, including myself and those around me. But I'm not going to give up a hug. I got to tell you, I'm not I think you have to be careful who you're hugging, but I think when you're in your inner circle, you know kind of what to do. I mean, really, just hard not to hug.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your third world country that you worked in.
I was deployed to Operation Restore Democracy in Haiti. I believe that was at the end of 1993 into 1994. I was sent to, I was with the 10th Mountain Division, 187 Infantry, and I was the battalion PA for that unit. And we went and I provided medical support for my soldiers and for the indigenous Haitian people there in Haiti. It gives you an appreciation of working in a third world country and how well we have it over here.
Oh, listen, that was a conversation that I can recall, and we were talking about that because I had worked overseas with leprosy missionary people, and I came back to America with so much more appreciation for America, to the point that I kissed the ground when I got off the plane, and then ran for a hamburger or something in that fashion, you know.
Oh yeah.
But how long were you over there?
It wasn't too long. It was a little over 4 months. I think I left in September. We came back in January or February. I remember we had to take mefloquine every Sunday. It's an anti-malaria pill because the mosquitoes were so rampant over there. So malaria was a big problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember asking one of the people that live there, when is it going to cool off over here? Because it's, September. We're going to be here, for Christmas and New Year's. Is it going to get any colder? And he told me, no, it's 90 degrees, 360 days a year here. Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
The heat was really something to deal with there too.
Yeah, and even though you don't speak the language, people can tell by your smile and your eyes that you care,
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it means a lot. And I remember meeting with so many doctors that had given up their time to come over and work in different areas, Paraguay, India, so many different places, Ethiopia. That's where we were, Addis Ababa. But it sure does make you love America more and more, because the freedoms we've had here in America and the fact that we're Americans. I mean, come on. I'm a patriot. I'm proud. I know you are too. But I often would say, if every American could go overseas just once to a third world country, they would appreciate everything so much differently than what we do now. It's just a real opportunity to come to America and live here. And that's why we're trying so hard to keep our freedoms free. Now I was going to ask you about your wife. How long have you been married?
Oh, pretty much my whole life. We met at 15 and started going out in high school at 16. And I joined the Army in 1983. And I got orders to go to Germany. And that's when we got married, because I had to be married to bring her overseas with me. So it wasn't a big, it was almost like an elopement, but we got married at the Justice of the Peace in San Antonio, Texas, November 1983.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like I've been with her pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, you basically have. I
Yeah.
mean, and thank God you have, and you've stayed together and worked everything out so well, because there's so many families that don't have that opportunity, haven't been fortunate to keep a marriage together, and especially these days, there are more divorces because of the problems with the COVID. People having to be around each other can make you a little nervous, I guess. It has me in some cases, that's for sure. Now, I'm just going to ask a real personal question. When a doctor of your status is told that he can't travel, does that mean you're not going to go anywhere for Christmas?
No, I think I would go ahead and I'd use my good judgment and go where I want to go. I do have an RV, so that affords me some freedom and allows me to have social distancing, and I can still go where I want to go.
I think the last time I talked to you, you'd gone to see your father-in-law in Arizona.
Yes, we took the motorhome and we went to Willow Beach, which is on the riverside of Lake Mead, on the other side of the dam. Really beautiful area there. And they've done a good job with the RV site. Really a beautiful area.
How often do you motor normally?
We try to go out every month because those RVs are quite expensive. So if you're not using them, you're wasting all that money you spent on the rig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's really it's really a beautiful thing to be able to do. It's a lot of responsibility. The motorhome I have is a 40-foot diesel pusher, so it's basically like driving a huge bus.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is huge, isn't it?
Yes, it's a huge machine.
Mm-hmm.
When I first bought it, I felt like a little boy driving a bus. It was so huge,
Yeah. Well,
An experience.
that's so great that you have that, and you never know when you're going to really, really need it. I mean, you don't know. I think that's, well, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions here before we leave you. Not that we could ever leave you, Harvey, but can you hear that sound? Yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be okay. I sure hope so. Do you do amputations?
Amputations?
Mm-hmm.
I've been involved with them before, where if the patient has diabetes and the limb is not salvageable,
Mm-hmm.
we've done below the knee amputations.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually once you get to that area, then the limb's more salvageable.
Oh, do you remember your first?
Probably during my orthopedic training back in 2000, and then here in Las Vegas, it's probably been maybe 17 years ago. So fortunately it's not something that I have to be involved with frequently, but it is part of the job.
Yeah, I just now. Is there a way? I mean, is there something you can share about the food habits for a diabetic person? I mean, if someone's diabetic, they got to really follow the food, don't they? I mean, the necessity of eating the right thing for a diabetic is major.
Yes, that's extremely important. Staying away from processed foods. You want to eat more vegetables, mostly vegetable-based proteins, beans, rice, green leafy vegetables, and some occasional fruit, apples and peaches, pears. That would be more your dessert. But and I think exercise is very important too, more so aerobic exercise. When you get older, I used to try to run for 30 minutes at least 3 or 4 days a week. But now that I'm getting older, we just take brisk walks, for 30 to 45 minutes and try to do that
That's good.
3 to 4 times a week, and that keeps the weight down. But that with diabetes, that's one of the most important things is keeping the weight down. If you can keep that down, then it keeps the diabetes in better control.
Yeah, I'm sitting here listening, thinking I should be out jogging right now,
Yeah, it's easy in concept, but the application, it's a lot harder. Sometimes we get forget about it. It's easier to do something else, but you pretty much have to make yourself do it,
Yeah, because no one's going to do it for you.
Absolutely.
And the older I get, the more I realize, you got to take better care of yourself, because, it kind of, somebody said to me the other day, they dropped something and they had to look at it for a long time to make a decision if they're going to bend over and pick it up or not.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I was stationed in Hawaii. I was snorkeling, and I saw a bill on the sand down in the water, and I have real sensitive sinuses, and I was swimming down toward the bill, and my sinuses were hurting really bad. But I looked at it, and it was $1, so I swam back up. I told myself if it was more than $1, I might have swam through the pain and got it. But if it was 100, I sure would have went for it. But
I understand. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. I think probably there's something I was reading the other day about the brain and how it needs brain hormones. Particular hormones are good for your brain. I never had heard that before. Are you familiar?
I think for women, your estradiol are important, and your energy and concentration. And it also slows down the progression of arthritis that we all naturally get. But unfortunately, postmenopausal women, they don't produce that estradiol that they once did, and that's what progresses the arthritis in our knees and fingers and stuff like that.
Well, then there are certain hormone pills we can take for this? Yes? No?
Yes, in general medicine, they can give you Premarin and estradiol pills, and then some of the physicians are using more bioidentical hormones, which are safer, because some women have to have a high risk for breast cancer, and they can't take the estrogen replacement hormones, or it increases their chance of getting breast cancer. So that's something you have to take in consideration too, the family history of those types of diseases.
Yeah, the histrionics, I don't think always follow, but a lot follows. A lot follows with your family histrionics. Absolutely. Do you find that people come in sometimes to see you because they really just need a therapist?
Yeah, I find myself in that situation a lot. It's like they want to be able to vent and talk about what's bothering them. I've never really considered myself a psychologist or anything, but I think part of medicine is being able to listen to your patients and listening helps them feel better about what's going on, and they're able to vent their frustrations and have somebody to talk to about that. It helps a lot.
I think you doctors are going through more of that now than maybe ever before, because we've got the pent-up anger of people, and then we have the loneliness, and then we have the financial issues with what's happening with the jobs, and then we have people that, if you can't go to a job, your life's over. I mean, everyone always thought they wanted to stay at home. Well, they're staying at home all right, but not because of choice. And so there's a lot of hostility right now. And so I find people to be just a little bit shorter, and I try really hard to be a little kinder.
Oh, yeah. I feel that we all need to be kinder to each other and be more understanding.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure. Do you anticipate, you might not want to answer, and you don't have to. That's for sure. But this vaccinations that the people are taking, are going to take, would you be, I saw where 3 of the former presidents are going to take it. I have no idea if I'm going to take it or not.
Yeah, I do have some reservations on it, just because there's haven't been any long-term studies to show the safety of it. From what I understand, the Pfizer vaccine is going to be a 2-shot series. It's got to be kept at negative 96 degrees Fahrenheit, and you would get a shot on one occasion, and you have to get a shot on a second occasion in 21 days. But I think what people are worrying about is the long-term side effects. Is it going to cause like neurological disorder?
Exactly.
That's something we probably won't find out till down the road. So that is a hard decision to actually say, if you're going to go for it and get it or not,
Yeah, I guess, every day something changes, every hour something changes. That's what's beautiful about being alert to the changes. But at this point in time, I'm not in a hurry to grab it. Let the older people that need it, see how it works. But, it's great that those 3 presidents former presidents were willing to take the shots to show they were safe. And then they were talking about giving it to, of course, people like yourself, first responders. We have a lot of our nurses and doctors that need it the most. I just want to make sure it's the right thing for y'all. That's all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely a tough decision, but I guess the Food and Drug Administration gives their final word if it's a go or not. But again, there's no long-term studies to show what it's going to do to you down the road. What's going to happen as a side effect in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, I think some people might have it mixed up with other conversations concerning taking a mark or something of that sort. Actually, I wanted to say that I do not believe that a vaccination is taking the mark. The 666 mark is what I'm speaking of. I believe a vaccination, if the presidents and the FDA and everybody okays it, is going to be okay for people. But I think people got to understand that it's not taking the mark. It's not the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
No. And so, but I was curious about whether or not you'd want your family to take it.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, we would probably go ahead and take it. There's any medicine that you take, there's always risks and benefits. But I think they probably done a lot of did the best they can to make sure it's safe for the American people. It's either we're going to get the vaccine and develop immunity, or we're going to catch the disease itself and get natural immunity, and that way. But as time goes on, a lot more people are going to get the virus and develop at least temporary immunity against the disease.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I want to take a moment to. There's your phone. Is that your phone?
I think that's coming in your office, I believe.
No?
Yeah, I heard it. It sound, I don't think it's this side, but
We have a phone in here? No. Oh, well, maybe that's why we're having trouble. I don't know. Well, I want to thank you for your time. There it is again.
Oh, yeah. I think it's somebody's phone ringing.
We'll let them pick it up. I just want to thank you for all that you do for so many. And I'm sorry. We're trying to decide if we're going to stop on that or not. But I'm going to finish saying what I'm going to say, which is they don't make doctors like you much anymore. I'm grateful that you're my doctor. The physician's assistant to being your doctor. And thank you for all that you do as a first responder, being in your office when people come in. I mean, that's beautiful that you care that much and that you're taking a chance, because you are.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is trying to help people the best you can, and there is some risk involved in it. But it's all walks of life, and the police officers out there and the firefighters, they all have to take a chance to help people out. So
yeah, well, I would hate to see America without her police officers and firemen. And that to me is equally as important as my doctors. So thank you. I wish for you and your family everything that you could wish for yourself, Harvey Smith. I truly do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thanks for coming on the show, Out of the Box with Chaplain Susan Stafford. And this was Harvey Smith. And we're saying thank you so much, and God bless you mightily, Harvey.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.